Good Monday morning to you. I'm Jane Monreal. You're watching Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. Thanks for staying with us throughout the weekend, getting you covered with this winter ice storm. And we are continuing to follow what is happening now that it is all done and past us. But tell that to Richard Devane. He's in Boone, where I see you just covered there in the snow. Richard, how's it going?
It is going well, Jane. Good Monday morning to you. Good Monday morning, folks watching this. Basically, look, Ruben is panning over. You can see this morning it was just cold and we had the wind. We've gotten the snow added to the mix. So luckily, a lot of folks are not taking to the roads today. They're taking Monday as a day to stay inside. That is the good news. We spoke to emergency management a little while ago. They said they're continuing to ask folks to stay inside. And as you can see, the winds are swirling. The snow is falling. That is snow that is actually falling from the sky, and the conditions aren't that great because anything that possibly could be frozen or melted yesterday or started to melt has turned into ice. So those roads, they've been keeping them in great shape for the most part. You see crews coming through here constantly trying to take care of the roads. But this morning we started about a couple hours ago, we started to see the snowfall. So now even more so they're advising folks to stay inside. Schools closed for today. County offices closed for today. Most of the businesses that we've encountered are closed for today. This is right here, Blowing Rock Highway. We were also had a look at King Street in downtown Boone. That same thing. You normally see people walking around, milling about on a Monday morning, students, business people. Now you see just this. Trucks just trying to remove go around and remove as much accumulation as possible. We've spoken to a number of drivers, crew members. They say the most important thing is to continually try to get it off the road so that when the time comes, they can then sand or whatever they have to do to keep it from accumulating, because then it's harder. It turns into ice and things of that nature. So again, emergency management says they've had no major issues. We're taking a look at what's underfoot. This is all ice under here. It's not even any snow on top of it. It's just ice here. That's how it is. Your car hits this. If you're driving, you're in trouble. You're walking, you step on something like that, you could be in trouble. The only way you won't be in trouble is stay inside the house. Now, hopefully, their power outages won't be as significant today. You never know with these high winds and what can happen. The worst part about that is when you have winds of this late, anytime their winds are over 30 miles per hour, work crews, those energy crews cannot get to fix those lines. It's a safety issue. So hopefully you don't have many power outages up here in Watauga County. That is the scene right here in Watauga County. Very cold, very windy, and now we've got the snow coming down. Stay home, stay safe, watch us. We'll keep you updated. Jane, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Richard, watching you all weekend. Thank you for braving the elements up there. Appreciate you bringing the real time, real look. All right. Be safe coming down.
Gotcha.
All right, here in Charlotte, we're going to switch gears now. Richard gave us a look up at the mountains. We are going to go to our Destiny Richards, who is in South Charlotte. And Destiny, how you doing?
South Charlotte and Destiny, how you doing? Doing very well, Jane, especially now that the sun is out. It feels so good. It's so much better than it was yesterday. And that has really been helping the roads this morning. The roads have improved so much. Slush has been the word I've been saying the most today, because that's what you're going to encounter on most of these roads. I'm going to turn this camera around so you can see, though, we do have bridges that might still be slicked over. So right now, this is Ballantyne Corporate Place, the bridge over Johnston Road. On either side, you're seeing the slush, but for the most part, roads cleared on either side. So there's tire tracks that people have been driving over. Some of the lanes are now visible, but for the most part, bridges are going to look like this. But we're over Johnston Road, which looks really good. This is the on-ramp onto I-485 as it goes to Pineville and Matthews, and looking bare. So the main thoroughfares, NCDOT did a great job clearing them. You also have bridges that look like this. They might be a little icier. And then side roads right now looking mostly slushy. So again, conditions have improved. It is a lot warmer. It is now brighter. So it's not a day to return to normal driving because you might encounter slippery areas of black ice. But if you have experience driving in snow, I would say it is most like that after a night of snowfall. So people who are experienced with that will have an easier time of it. But of course, this is the day to venture out and head out on the roads safely because overnight we have that refreeze happening. So this is definitely a bright spot in the day and after a weekend of heavy precipitation. I'll send it back to you, Jane, live here from South Charlotte.
Destiny, you have driven in some snowy, icy conditions, right, coming out of Fort Worth area. How was your drive there then to Valentine?
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. This morning, again, this was the only time I felt safe to travel out into the Valentine area, mostly because of my experience driving in Washington State, actually. I did not drive when I was in Texas when we had ice storms in the Dallas area. I was in college back in that time when I was last in DFW, so classes were canceled and that was nice. I got to stay in. But this is my first experience driving in ice, but with conditions having improved. But I did feel more confident today, I would say, because I drove in snow in Spokane, Washington. So again, I say if you have experience driving in snow, that is what the roads resemble right now.
Very good. Destiny, thank you for bringing us that update and sharing a little bit of what you have gone through yourself. The sun does look good on you. Take care.
The sun does look good on you.
Yes.
Take care.
Majestic Storm is in the studio. We are going to take a break and look at our latest forecast real time after the break. You're watching Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. At 9:09, welcome back to Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. It's a Monday morning. It is on the other side now of this ice storm. Whew, we made it. We survived. Majestic Storm here in the studio, working so hard over the weekend. Thank you for the coverage. I was just telling you that those shots from Storm Tracker, looking at the roads, when was that? Was that Saturday night? It's all one big blur to me when you guys were out on the road Saturday night.
It was yesterday.
See, yesterday morning after
Wait,
everything.
wasn't it? I'm confused. Yeah, Sunday. Yesterday. We're like, what in the world? Where are we?
Yeah, exactly. It's all one long day for us
Yeah.
here. But this is what we do, and we want to be there for you. This is when it matters, Majestic. And
Absolutely.
but now we're dealing with these this Arctic sort of weather, isn't it?
Cold. Yeah, so the ice storm all done, but boy, did we see the sleet, we saw the freezing rain. Our forecast verified, and now back behind it, we're looking at bitter cold temperatures. Let's just get straight into it because we really have a lot to talk about. Thankfully, no more precipitation. Live camera looks coming in all around on this Monday. It is beautiful, starting to see that sunshine right there in Kannapolis. I love that camera there. Beautiful blue sunny skies. You can see the baseball field right there. That's not snow, that is sleet with a layer of that freezing rain on top. It's that kind of precipitation where if you're walking, it's very crunchy, it's very loud. I noticed in a lot of the parking lots, it is still a little bit slushy / slick, so it's not perfectly clear. I was doing traffic all morning long on WCNC, and honestly, a lot of the roads, I-77, I-85, continue to look really good. Big shout out to NCDOT, SCDOT, really working long hours to try to do their best to make sure at least the main roads are cleared so essential workers can get to work. If you had an emergency, at least you were able to drive. Now let's talk about our sleet totals, all right? So we're seeing some of the totals right here. Gainwell accumulating 3 inches of sleet. Now, if you're wondering where that is, it's just north of Morganton. So that's where we saw some of the highest sleet totals. Morganton, 2 inches of sleet. Belmont, 1.2. Mount Holly, just over 1 inch. Davidson, about 1 inch of sleet. Uptown, about 1 inch as well. So yesterday, if you were paying attention to the weather, whether you're just looking outside your window or you were outside, you saw those little sleet pellets coming down. And remember, that's just those ice pellets falling from the sky. And then on top of that, we had the freezing rain. So truly, this ice storm continuing to impact the Carolinas all day yesterday. We're still seeing some impacts out there today as far as the roads go and things like that. But this was a massive storm system that brought crazy amount of winter weather from areas like Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, of course, Nashville really getting hit with the biggest impacts there when it comes to the ice storm up and down the Carolinas and then all the way up to the East Coast. So widespread impacts. Freezing rain totals. Concord, you got slammed with that freezing rain. You had a layer of that sleet, the freezing rain on top of it. It was that type of weather where you go outside and everything is just frozen over, especially cars. If you haven't warmed up your car over the last couple of days, I know a lot of people here at the station have not drove their cars, and you can tell which ones those are. I mean, their cars are just completely frozen over. Here in Charlotte, we got about 1/4 of an inch of freezing rain in addition to about 1 inch of sleet. So bottom line, that's ice on ice. That is not even snow that we saw, although when I was in the storm tracker yesterday, I saw so many kids out sledding on hills. They were having the best day, having fun, making the most of their sleet day, I guess you could say, freezing rain day. Let's break down our winter weather alerts. Yesterday and Saturday, we had so many states in the country highlighted under winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings, ice storm warnings, and now still this morning, much of our viewing area is still under winter weather advisory. So are we improving? Most definitely. A lot of our states across the country are no longer under any advisories or warnings, but we'll stay under winter weather advisories until 1 o'clock this afternoon. And the National Weather Service issued this because while the precipitation is all done and over with, we are still seeing some slick and icy spots, especially on bridges, on ramps, off ramps. Here's one of our live cameras outside this morning. This is I-485 out near Oakdale Road. So you can tell most of the roads, they look okay. They look wet, but if you're just traveling too fast, maybe you hit kind of the side where there is still a little sleet and ice, you could quickly go off of the road. And we've seen that a couple of times this morning, but overall, I was pretty impressed with how everyone was driving this morning. Another live camera, this one's coming in from South Carolina, so I-77 at Harris Road. Very nice conditions here, starting to even see some drying. So the best part of our forecast today, the ice storm is over. We'll get sunshine this afternoon, many of us already seeing that, and our our temperatures will start to rise above that freezing mark. So overall, a lot of the ice that's on the ground now, it will slowly start to melt. Another part of the forecast this morning is that we've been dealing with fog, pockets of heavy fog, especially up in the high country. And unfortunately, that's where temperatures really are still cold. So it's not just fog, it's freezing fog. And when you have fog and below freezing temperatures, the fog can actually freeze onto surfaces. So if you're watching from the mountains, honestly, that's been my watch spot when I was doing traffic this morning, because that's where we have those rural roads where, you know, the roads haven't been treated as well and where it is still very slick and icy. So watch for that. Current temperatures right now, we're mainly into the 20s and 30s, 33 degrees in Charlotte, so just above freezing. But look at the mountains. I mean, the mountains truly still struggling this morning. 17 degrees there in Boone and Jefferson. And then you add some wind on top of it, and it feels like you're below zero in the mountains. So again, not seeing the best conditions when it comes to traveling in the mountains, and it really does not feel good. It feels like it's 27 degrees here in Charlotte. The winds are playing a huge role in what our friends in the mountains are feeling this morning. Those winds moving in from the northwest, I mean, it is cold, cold Arctic air. Some of our winds gusting around 40 miles an hour on top of temperatures only in the teens. So it makes sense why you step outside the door this morning in the mountains and it feels like you're below zero. So dangerously cold conditions still. I've actually seen some of the sleet and a little bit of the snowfall that the mountains got on roofs. It's kind of like blowing all around. You'll notice that if you actually do have to be traveling. In Charlotte, a little bit breezy today, but truly the winds will continue to linger throughout the day today and into tomorrow for the mountains. National Weather Service also has cold weather alerts still in place for all people in our viewing area. If you're in a county shaded in blue, that's a cold weather advisory, meaning yes, today is going to be cold, but we're seeing that dangerous cold. Just like what I mentioned, Ashe, Watauga, Avery counties, you're under extreme cold warnings throughout the rest of the day today and into our Tuesday, because it's going to feel like you're below zero for multiple hours in a row. So really prepare for this. You know, this has been a part of our weather story that we've been talking about, is the potential for this ice storm, the potential for the snow like we saw. Our forecast verified, and now we need you to really pay attention to that brutal cold up in the mountains, because that's where it is truly dangerous. Here's a live camera look coming in from Blowing Rock. You can tell how windy it is by just looking at the flag and the power lines there. A lot of that snow and sleet blowing all across the roads, limited visibility because of that, plus the fog as well. So they're definitely thinking about everyone up in the mountains, because that is where the weather is the worst today. Meanwhile, in Charlotte, I'm loving the sunshine. I think a lot of people are really enjoying that as well. So remember, big story today in Charlotte, temperatures are rising above freezing. We like that. We like the sunshine. So a lot of that ice is going to slowly melt throughout the day. I don't think it's all going to melt, and I surely do not think all of it is going to dry out. So then here's the problem. We have the melting throughout the day, and then look at our overnight lows tonight. These will be some of the coldest temperatures that we've seen since 2024 or so. 11 degrees overnight in Charlotte. Single digits up in the mountains. 1 degree in Boone, 3 degrees in Jefferson. We're looking at Hickory at 9 degrees for you and Statesville. 15 degrees out across Chirac. So below freezing tonight. Still make sure your house is ready for this bitter cold, including your pipes. Wind chills in the mountains. This is what it will feel like when you factor in the wind on top of those really cold temperatures. We could see wind chill values drop down to about 15 to 20 below zero. I mean, if you have any outdoor pets, please bring them inside. They should already be inside, because this is just brutally cold. And if you work outside in the elements, hopefully you don't have to work out there when it's this cold. But if you do, you just really want to avoid having any exposed skin when it's that cold. A lot of people are always curious, when do you need to actually drip your faucets, open up your cabinets? Definitely suggest doing that tonight and into Tuesday, but it wouldn't be a bad idea even into Wednesday and Thursday, as temperatures are just going to remain really cold. Here's our Jerry Hunt Super Center 7-day forecast. So enjoy the sunshine today. You will see the melting. You might notice it from your rooftops or trees, things like that. But we're just concerned that temperatures will get so cold overnight. I mean, 11 degrees here in Charlotte, single digits off to the northwest. That means tomorrow morning's commute likely will be much worse than what we saw this morning, because this morning really wasn't too bad. I was pretty impressed with what I was seeing. Tomorrow morning, though, I'm concerned that we're going to have a sheet of of black ice where we have that moisture that refreezes. I think some areas will dry up nicely, but not every area. So slick and icy, dangerous road conditions tomorrow. That's why we have a WCNC weather impact alert tonight and into Tuesday morning, and then gradually warming up. But overall, this is a cold week. We should be at 53 degrees. We don't even have 50s in our 7-day forecast. And then Friday night and into Sunday, another cold front arrives. That could bring a couple more snowflakes, but look at those cold temperatures going from 43 to 27 for our high. So that's what I'm looking at, you guys. There's a lot going on for sure.
Okay. All right. We are over the worst of it, though.
Yeah,
for
definitely.
the beginning of this week, and we all survived.
We did.
Carlene made it through some crunchy ice.
So crunchy. It was slushy.
Little slush.
It was slush.
Yeah.
It was 7-Eleven slush
Yeah.
on the roads.
I noticed the slush too, and slush, it's not great to drive in,
No.
but it kind of reminds me of driving in snow compared to ice. Like
Right.
ice is just terrible, but if you're driving in slush, at least you have like a little bit of traction.
Little grip.
Crunch.
Yep.
Yeah. So I thought roads were just really just fine, and I didn't see any big, huge accidents
No.
this morning
That's
on
good.
the roads. Not a lot of people traveling still.
No.
Right.
That's good.
Right.
I was so
yeah.
impressed by how the roads were treated. Just
Yes.
a round of applause.
Yeah,
for our
like
you
DOT
said,
crew.
shout out
They
DOT,
were
NC,
working
and
hard,
SC.
And it shows.
They were standing by, so
Yeah.
well
done.
planned, well
Yes.
staged, prepared for the worst.
Yes.
All right, Majestic, thanks for that.
Thank you, guys.
All right, take it easy for the rest of the day. We are going to take a break here and regroup in about 2 minutes. See you on the other side on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. All right, everybody, it is 9:23 here on Live Impact News. Jane Monreal joining you after the icy storm has come and gone. We are dealing with Arctic air and a lot of the repercussions dealing with traffic. This is Ronald Reagan Airport. You can see it is iced over, and this has certainly caused delays for so much of the country. This is a live look right now, what's happening at Charlotte Douglas. It looks like total delays 67. Right, and then cancellations, though, 374.
Right.
Believe it or not, that's a number that's come down
Right.
since the weekend. Because
It's
I
important
remember
to
it's
note
almost
these numbers
500.
These numbers are arriving and departing. Like, it's not all departing from our airport.
Okay.
So
into or out
yes.
of Charlotte Douglas. Because that is what happens
a ripple
when, exactly.
Yeah.
Most of the country's dealing with this, and that all affects the flights coming to Charlotte. So we don't have the planes to take you back out.
We're American Hub.
And we're American
Other
Hub.
big American hubs are also dealing with this. So it's a ripple effect.
Yeah. So, we expect things to get back online as soon as possible, but that's what Mother Nature deals with and we deal with it as best as we can. All right, so with that, we are going to take you to Kentucky right now, where the governor, Governor Beshear, is holding a press conference. They're doing their post-storm debrief as well, looking at the damage, assessing what's happening, and emergency personnel gathering. This happening right now out of Kentucky. Let's go ahead and listen in on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus.
And if you can't make it through another day, make sure you go to that warming center. We want you to be safe. Again, today, I hope that we make significant progress, but to be safe, make sure you look up that warming center location. We currently have more than 137 warming centers set up across the Commonwealth. Most of these have been set up by county emergency management, so make sure that you thank them, but take advantage of this. We don't want to lose anybody to hypothermia because power is out, and these are right here available. The map you're seeing shows all the locations. The site is linked on my social for anyone in need. You can also go to kym.ky.gov. Our state parks have also been set up as warming centers on the locations you see on the slide. There is current capacity at every single one of them. So if you are without power and you are close to any of these state parks, come on over. It is warm there. We have a place for you to keep you safe until your power gets back up online. At this point, we're counting a few hundred Kentuckians that are being sheltered, but we're confirming those numbers as we transport more people that are in need. Our team yesterday evacuated about 150 people from hotels in London that were without power. We also helped evacuate some guests from Barren River State Park, which was also out of power. Forestry has 17 cut teams that are deployed all over the state. These are teams that are cutting the down trees and lines so that we can open up the roads, but also to get power up and restored. We're now concentrating those teams in areas that receive the highest ice accumulation. So if you are in one of those counties, you're going to see more cut and toss teams today. We have updates on water and wastewater systems. Boiled water advisory, not all that large, about 500 connections. We have 2 systems in limited operations and only 1 system statewide that is non-operational. So a great job to our water and wastewater utilities of keeping that service running. We have 1,100 Kentucky transportation trucks on the road with additional 358 contractors that are out there. This is the type of man and woman power that we are putting to work to try to make sure those roads are as safe as possible. It's a heavy lift because it hit the entire state, but we're throwing everything we have at it to try to get you all mobile in the next couple of days and reduce the impact of this storm. Electric cooperatives have crews being deployed all over Kentucky. We think in between the contractors, the regular employees, and this was a question yesterday, we requested additional resources from Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan. That's mutual aid we are receiving from less hard-hit areas. We think we have 1,175 field crews. Those are utility field crews that are out there in the field trying to restore power. That is a huge number. So again, we're taking this seriously and we're throwing every resource we have at it. I'm going to turn it over to Eric Gibson. He has been here for the last probably 3 days straight, working really hard, trying to get the best emergency response to each and every Kentuckian. Eric.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Governor, and good morning from the EOC. It's a team effort, that's for certain. There's a whole lot of people who've been here during this time, and the teams have been working really hard during this time to try to make sure that we meet the needs across the state. And today we're going to talk just a little.
We'll get back to that press conference happening out of Kentucky shortly as we come up on 9:30 right now here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. I'm Jane Monreal. So the storm has moved through. We know we're getting a clear picture this morning. The sun is shining, thank goodness, but conditions around the Carolinas are still, we're still checking in with our reporters and other agencies. Joining us right now is Master Trooper Hannah Davidson from South Carolina Highway Patrol. And Trooper Davidson, you are in Gaffney right now off 85. Appreciate your time this morning checking in.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. So when did the calls start coming in, as you can see, related to the storm, and how fast did troopers move out?
Yes, we've been preparing for this storm for several days and having troopers working 24/7, definitely on the main roadways. And most people have been listening and staying at home, so we haven't had too big of any issues, and we appreciate that.
Oh, that is really good news. How many accidents or incidents then did you guys have to respond to?
I don't have an exact number right now, but nothing serious, nothing fatal, which is our biggest concern. And our main goal is, of course, the safety of the citizens. So they've done their part, and we've done ours.
That sounds really good and promising. The roadway conditions right now, what are you seeing and what are your troopers reporting?
Our main roadways are passable, like the interstates. There are some areas that still need to use caution, but our main concern right now are the secondary roadways and the county roadways that aren't going to see the sun as much today. So be cautious in those areas and still use caution.
The types of incidents that were reported, although not serious, what kind of incidents were they? Mostly spinouts?
Right. Most of them just cars versus ditches. A lot of that going on, especially in the more rural areas in the county. So just still use caution. There are still some slick spots out there. It might look good on the main roadways, but definitely use caution everywhere else.
All right. So troopers, you said working 24/7. Are you staggering now, just sort of getting them off the roads and sort of getting them back to a regular schedule or rested?
We haven't gotten any word of that yet. We're still going to have them 24/7 just because tonight the freezing temperatures are biggest, another concern for us is it freezing over and us having more issues. So we'll still keep troopers out 24/7, which we always do have them. We just have more manpower right now, of course. But just drive safe and just look out for the ice.
Always a good message for the rest of us as we try to get back to a normal schedule this week. With the concern for the refreeze tonight, anything else that you want drivers to know today and really through the week?
If you can, stay home, but we understand there's essential workers that need to get to work. Just use your caution, just watch your speed and the distance between the cars. We normally say use 3 seconds in front of the car in front of you, but now we're asking between 6 and 8 to stay as far as you can from that car in front of you.
All right, Master Trooper Hannah Davidson from South Carolina Highway Patrol. Appreciate your time. Thank you, and thanks for keeping us all safe out there.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. Here at 9:35 on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus, we'll get you back out to that briefing. A lot of states, of course, affected with this wintry weekend weather in different ways. So, Charlotte area, we mostly got ice and sleet, not the most pleasant part of a wintry storm. Others got almost feet of snow, blizzard-like conditions. Kentucky wrapping up, or not wrapping up, but they are on the other side of the storm as well. So they're dealing with some power outages. Let's go back to their press conference on Live Impact News.
Reallocation of our resources into those hardest hit areas. We worked overnight really closely with our National Guard folks to move resources into that area that we know that is really suffering right now, with nearly 50% of those customers in Allen County and Monroe County without power this morning. So we worked overnight with their forces, and they're reallocating their staff down there to put more soldiers in there, airmen and soldiers from the National Guard, the Army National Guard in there to be there to assist and try to get those roads cleared, get that utility crews to where they need to be so that they can restore those power lines and get you back online. With that being said, there's a few other things that we've been doing here that I wanted to update you on. Since yesterday, I shared that phone number with everyone that was for the unmet needs, and we took a lot of calls on that, and I really appreciate you all doing that. We've tasked those to the appropriate agency. I think we took 114 calls on that particular line. Additionally, we're talking with our forestry folks, our utility co-ops, and we're continuing to move those resources, and that's what we look at on an event. Once the precipitation ended, we started assessing our areas of greatest concern and then reallocating our resources to attack that. And I think that's what our teams are doing today, and you should see continuous improvement in that area. Additionally, our shelters remain open, ready to meet your needs if you're in an area without power. Everyone is talking about the cold temperatures to come. The governor's highlighted that already. Brutal cold temperatures, near zero, wind chills well below zero overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. We have the centers open if you need that. Remember the phone number that we posted yesterday, and I'm glad to share it with you today, 502-607-6665. If you need a warming center, or if you know of a situation that we need to address, please pass it on to us. We'll assign that task. Also, remember the vulnerable populations that are out there during these cold weather events. Our county officials, local emergency managers, judge executives have done a really good job of opening these warming centers, but make sure we're looking out for that vulnerable population. It'd be very difficult to survive a night at this temperature without proper protection from that. With that being said, we want to talk a little bit about our two main efforts here. That's the power restoration and transportation. And so we're continuing to work with those co-ops. The governor's talked about the mutual aid coming in. Our teams from Energy and Environment Cabinet, just over my left shoulder, have been here around the clock working with our co-ops, just making sure that we're communicating with them if they need any resources to get roadway clear, to get in there so that they can address those down lines. Those are those details that we're trying to work through to make sure we're there to get that power restored as quickly as possible. However, we can help them help you is what we're trying to do. And with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Secretary Gray from our Transportation Cabinet, who's going to talk about that other line of effort on our roads and our highways. Secretary Gray.
Thanks, Director, and thanks, Governor. You all both said it so well. There is no I in teamwork, and that's exactly what's been illustrated so much in the last few days. And I want to echo again what the Governor has said. This storm has left an impact on all 120 Kentucky counties. Our focus at the Transportation Cabinet, at the Department of Highways, remains on keeping Kentuckians safe. We have literally thousands, almost 2,300 skilled highway crew members and staff responding across the state. With plow trucks, as the governor said, nearly 1,500, 1,458 to be exact, chainsaws, graders, and other equipment at work. We're working to keep priority routes passable for emergency responders and for critical travel. Our message boards on the highways say today, icy road conditions, slow down. And also they say, avoid unnecessary travel. There are no reported major roadway impacts at this time. However, I just got late breaking news that we do have a jackknifed semi has blocked southbound 75 just north of Clays Ferry Bridge. Fortunately, we have pre-positioned wreckers, and they are responding as I speak. But at 8, I want to thank our traveling public for giving our operators room to do their jobs. Thank you so much for that, because it is likely, things are likely to change as travel increases. And until roadway conditions improve, we have to be more mindful and more careful. At 8 a.m. this morning, there were a handful of state highways blocked by downed power lines, at least one closure due to flooding. Ice is still affecting trees, particularly in southern and eastern Kentucky. Some progress overnight. Interstate routes range from wet in places to wheel paths to snow-packed. Our focus today is on priority routes, crossovers, ramps, turn lanes, and secondaries. We're taking advantage of what sunlight we have before the onset of this bitter and brutal cold tonight. As the governor said, and I've said it already, if you don't need to be out, stay at home, stay safe. Now, as conditions allow, we will turn our focus, as I've already said, to secondary routes now that the preparation has mostly, the precipitation has mostly passed. Remember, with ice and down trees and extreme cold, they remain a challenge this week. Salt plows will not be, salt nor plows will be as effective. And be on the lookout for a couple of minor weather makers perhaps this week. Clipper systems later in the week. Crews will be ready to respond to whatever weather conditions are thrown at us. We want to thank Kentuckians for doing their part by staying off the roads. It's made a a huge difference. But if you must travel, expect the unexpected. Watch for black ice, fallen debris, stranded vehicles, and dark traffic signals due to power outages. Pack an emergency car kit and learn more at snowky.ky.gov, including traffic updates. Now, a reminder, for safety purposes, state offices are closed today, including driver's license offices. Appointment holders have been notified, and staff will work to reschedule. Remember, with a completed vision screening form, you can still renew online. See drive.ky.gov. Again, I want to thank our snow and ice fighters, not only on the front lines, but at, for example, right here, the EOC, where they're working with other agencies and technicians working to keep equipment in good shape. Back to the governor.
As Secretary Gray mentioned, we pre-positioned 12 large wreckers that can clear the roadways when we have these semi-jackknives. They are around the Commonwealth. That's going to increase our response time and decrease the amount of time that traffic may back up. To all the 15 and 16-year-olds that had an appointment at our driver's licensing offices, I feel your pain. When I turned 16 in the mid-90s, we had a massive ice storm, and that postponed it by a couple weeks. I think I blamed my parents. I'm not sure that it was their fault. I want to give a brief update on our Kentucky State Police. Our telecommunicators are working around the clock, ensuring that no call goes unanswered during this storm. KSP has received 4,863 calls for service related to the winter storm. They've conducted 327 wellness checks and responded to 413 requests for motor assistance. State police continue to encourage Kentuckians to call 911 for emergencies only. KYEM has also received 114 calls to the unmet needs line. That's this one right behind me. That number is 502-607-6665. 502-607-6665. In closing, we're working really hard to get the roads safe and to get power back on, but we still have some days ahead of us to fully accomplish that goal. So please don't travel today unless it's an emergency. Keep your phones charged and have backup flashlights if needed. Make sure you have a weather safety kit ready. Know where your local warming center is, and if you don't have power when it's getting close to night, I suggest you go there and make sure that you have a warm night tonight. Keep your pets indoors. Don't go outside for extended periods of time. If you use a generator, move it out. I'm concerned that we are investigating at least one fatality that might be a result of this. I think we've got 3 deaths that we are investigating, and whether or not they were caused by this storm. We don't want any others. Check on your neighbors. Just make sure they're okay. What a good time to live out the parable of the Good Samaritan. All it takes is a phone call or knocking on their door. Just see if they're all right. Make sure to conserve energy if you do have power. And I'll remind everybody once again, if you get out there to shovel, remember it's heavier than normal. It's not just snow, but there's ice on top of it. As I said yesterday, last January, when we had the ice sandwich, we lost 6 people due to heart attacks related to shoveling. Take lots of breaks. Let's not lose one single person to shoveling. And to all of our media partners, please get out there in a way to where, as people today might not be going to work, they might be shoveling. We just want them to be safe.
All right, we will get back to that press conference again on the other side of this wintry storm there out of Kentucky. First, we're going to take a couple minutes here, and we'll see you on the other side of Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. Time right now, 9:48 here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. An update on a weekend fire that happened up in Blowing Rock. An historic restaurant, Bistro Roca, caught fire Saturday morning. Really popular and quite historic, as fire investigators are still investigating any kind of cause. We are now getting word from the restaurant, and a statement put out by them this morning. Most importantly, saying, number one, no one was hurt. People nor animal was hurt. Obviously heartbroken that during the ice storm, their beloved restaurant was lost to a fire. The building, more than 100 years old, and within its walls, decades of stories, obviously. As they are still in shock, they say that they're deeply grateful for the outpouring from the community, for your words, your prayers, and love, and they're just holding that close at this moment. So right now, thanking the Blowing Rock Fire Department and first responders for their efforts, to the community as well. I know there is some kind of a fund There is a GoFundMe for them, for their employees who have obviously been displaced now from their jobs. But these pictures just show you how intense this fire was anyway. And the cause of the fire, again, still being investigated by Blowing Rock Fire Department. But they do say that the restaurant built before the Prohibition, there was a speakeasy in the basement, and those rooms in the basement made it extremely difficult for firefighters to get water because it was compartmentalized, that whole area, obviously. So an update on the restaurant fire with that statement coming from the restaurant owners. We'll continue to update that for you here on Live Impact News and WCNC Charlotte. Get you back now to Kentucky with Governor Beshear on the press conference post-winter storm on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus.
Deaths that we are investigating and whether or not they were caused by this storm. We don't want any others. Check on your neighbors. Just make sure they're okay. What a good time to live out the parable of the Good Samaritan. All it takes is a phone call or knocking on their door. Just see if they're all right. Make sure to conserve energy if you do have power. And I'll remind everybody once again, if you get out there to shovel, remember it's heavier than normal. It's not just snow, but there's ice on top of it. As I said yesterday, last January, when we had the ice sandwich, we lost 6 people due to heart attacks related to shoveling. Take lots of breaks. Let's not lose one single person to shoveling. And to all of our media partners, please get out there in a way to where as people today might not be going to work, they might be shoveling. We just want them to be safe. Once again, unmet needs line, 502-607-6665. We're going to keep providing updates via my social media, and tonight we're going to evaluate roads and give an update ahead of Tuesday morning commutes. I can tell you in the very least, a Tuesday morning commute, as cold as it's going to be, will be icy. There will be black ice in different places. And if you are commuting, you need to take your time. We believe that we can get the roads in much better shape Tuesday, tomorrow, as it warms up a little throughout the day. So remember, we'll get through this and we'll get through it together. Everybody out there, stay safe. We've got 3 journalists that are on the line for us. We'll start with Tom Latek from Kentucky Today.
Thank you, Governor. Good morning to you and the gentleman there beside you. The Senate Democrats and now some Republicans are talking about not funding Homeland Security. How will that affect the aid that FEMA has, the president has approved for Kentucky due to this storm?
Well, I haven't seen. Oh, you mean federally? We'll see. Right now, the president has signed the necessary paperwork for this to be an emergency approved by FEMA. I fully expect those dollars to flow, and typically those dollars are in the form of reimbursement, and they take years to come through anyways. So I don't see any long-term impact right now, and I know that argument isn't about natural disasters. I believe both in our congressional delegation, Democrats and Republicans from Kentucky believe that we should continue FEMA funding that helps states get through this. The Trump administration had been cutting back on that. There had been draft memos that said snowstorms might not be included, but guess what? They signed this one, and we're grateful for that. So I've got no complaints from our federal partners for this. We got FEMA that have been in the room, and we're grateful for their partnership. Next, we have Karen Czar.
Good morning, Governor. Thank you. Governor, it sounds like, of course, you're saying today, please no non-essential travel, and I believe you're saying into tomorrow. As far as what is the timeline? When do you anticipate it will be safe for non-essential travel? And also, do you have a number as far as people utilizing shelters and state parks?
So far, our state parks don't have a significant population. Only a couple folks have come to our state park warming centers, but they are there and they are available. What we're finding is that there are a couple of congregate shelters, mainly run by the Red Cross, but people are finding friends and family that are close by to stay in. If you look at our map of power outages, while it's a lot, 47,624 at the moment. It is almost all in one specific area. So if you have friends or family members really 2 counties away where you live, you can find a warm place, and that's where we believe that most people are. But again, if we can put up the slide for our state parks and warming centers, all of these places are available. We have our employees in there ready to take care of you. So if you don't have power, we don't want anybody to get hypothermia. We want everybody to be safe. Those are all open. All right, finally, Carolina from WLEX.
Good morning, Governor. You said tomorrow you guys are hoping to get the roads in better shape. There could be that small break in the extreme cold. Is there a timeline, though, that the state has in mind to get all of the roads cleared, or is this really sunshine dependent at this point?
That's a good question. I do think the quality of the roads is going to be sunshine and temperature dependent. If you look right now, we are going to be cold all the way through next Monday or Tuesday. This is going to be an extended period of cold. Now, I think today, I think we're going to get some good work done on the roads. Tomorrow, I think we may have some significant progress. If that happens and there isn't significant additional accumulation, I think we will be much safer after the middle of the day when we get the sunshine to tomorrow. But we're going to continue to give updates. You know, we can't change Mother Nature. We can just do our very best. Remember, the salt and the brine have specific temperatures where if it gets under, it just simply doesn't work as well. So we will continue to provide updates, but I do expect if you are going to commute tomorrow morning, give yourself at least double the amount of time. Think about what major roads you can take as opposed to minor roads. Take a really good look at your neighborhood or where you live, and think about whether you can get out of that area. If you can work remotely, if that's good by your employer, you're a lot more productive if you can do that on Tuesday than if your car goes off the road and you're stuck for several hours getting help. But if you're going to drive today or tomorrow, pack that emergency kit. Pack the blankets, pack the water, make sure that your phone is fully charged. If you have to get out there, at least just take those steps to where you can buy yourself enough time for us to get to you if something happens. Again, thank you, everybody. We'll continue to provide updates. Really grateful for all the caution that Kentuckians have shown, how much they care about each other. This is our 15th federally declared weather disaster, 16th at least, if you include last January. So we can make it through this. Let's just be patient and let's make good decisions. Thank you all.
Well, that's wrapped up. So as we come up on 10 o'clock, I'm Jane Monreal. We are going to see you at the top of the hour on Live Impact News on WCNC+. Time right now is 10:01. Thanks for hanging with us here. We're getting our ducks lined up, and one of them is Walker Lawson. Not that I'm calling Walker a duck, but we are giving you the latest pictures. Walker, how you doing? You are up in Moresville, right?
Yes, we're up in Moresville this morning and getting our ducks in a row as well. So, of course, as we know, this has been a pretty big deal for us here in the Moresville area yesterday. Saw consistent sleet throughout the afternoon and freezing rain into the evening, which left us with these accumulations, which honestly, when I'm walking through the grass, I'm kind of realizing how much we have on here because the grass is pretty much now starting to poke through. But even as I walk, I'll kind of fall into some of these spots here. So kind of interesting to see how much accumulated. I think that last band that moved through last night really put down some totals for us. Vehicles still covered as well. Earlier today, if you saw us on the morning show, I was scraping away at my car, but the sun is doing its justice. It honestly feels really good in the sun right now, and as mentioned, we're starting to see that melting process taking place here in Moresville. But again, there are a lot of areas that are still going to be protected by these buildings, which will make it really hard for any sort of melting, especially with the refreeze that's expected tonight. It's also very hard to melt sleet, different than snow. So again, these are the conditions we're monitoring. We saw all of the power crews that were here at our hotel. They actually all checked out this morning and went to Pennsylvania. A lot of the other people that were at the hotels are all people that worked at the hospitals nearby or any stores, and they have pretty much all left as well. So seeming like people are getting back out on the roadways while they can, many of them saying this is them leaving the hotel and just going straight home. They are not going out to do anything. They just need to go home or go to work today.
Oh, that is encouraging news. And you guys were okay with power up there? And, I know I was also at a hotel closer to the station, but just listening into some linemen's conversations saying that, their strategy and that they had crews here, there, and everywhere, and things were much better than expected. Did you have something similar to that?
Well, I heard about your power outage in Charlotte from one
yes.
of our producers, Marie, but no, I mean, the gas station beside us, it's actually interesting. The gas station beside us was closed yesterday, and typically that's a place where we'll go and get MOS, so I kind of use that as a reader, and MOS is man on the street, but I kind of use that as a reader of how the impacts are actually happening here. It's like if Waffle House is open or if it's closed. So basically what we can see is that the gas station looks to be back open. We have some power crews actually out here at the gas station now, it looks like, that are pulling in separate from the ones here, but no issues. I even checked in with my family up here in Moresville. They're actually at the same exit as me, family in Statesville and family in Huntersville, and no one lost power, thankfully. So I think obviously if we would have seen a little bit more freezing rain, things would have been a little bit different. Thankfully we got primarily sleet, but for us we fared. Unfortunately, I know you guys lost a little bit of power out there last night.
Yeah, it happens. Word travels fast, right? That the power went out in our hotel. I love the irony. Isn't that great? But icy conditions were spared. All right, Walker, thanks for joining us this morning. You take it easy out there, and we'll see you again on WCNC Charlotte. We are back here in studio now, and do we have Majestic ready for us? All right, Majestic. Okay, let me get you here. I'm getting you. Here you are.
Here I am. Hi, guys. I'm
Hi,
back.
you're back. Things are, it's just great to see. Walker is in the sun. We had Destiny earlier, just soaking in some rays and looking at the ice melting. So that's really good because I am with my car outside. I know there's some ice that needs to melt as well.
Yeah, I was stepped outside, and it just feels good to be in the sun. After a couple of long days, too, it's like,
sure.
I need the sunshine, even though it is still cold. We'll expect some sunshine throughout the day today. I think we're just mainly concerned that we will see some melting, which, of course, is good news when it comes to the sleet and the freezing rain we had. But then, unfortunately, tonight will be one of the coldest nights that we've had in a long time. So anything that melts and that doesn't dry up is going to quickly refreeze into the overnight hours. So let's start with some good news. It's beautiful outside. We have sunny skies out there, most of us seeing it at this point from Charlotte to Monroe. I love this camera here. This is coming in from Kannapolis at the baseball field. And remember, that is not snow. That is sleet. But that looks perfect. It doesn't even look like anyone was out there walking in it or anything like that. I have heard from a few viewers today saying that they're hearing the sleet melt from their roofs and the trees in their backyard, and it's all starting to slowly melt. That's good news, but I also just have to remind you that tonight is going to get incredibly cold. Let's talk about some of our local sleet totals. So Gamewell accumulated 3 inches of sleet yesterday. 3 inches of little tiny ice pellets, and if you don't know where that is, it's going to be just north of Morganton, which makes sense. Morganton coming in with 2 inches of sleet. Areas like Concord, 1.5 inches, Mount Holly up there, Davidson, 1 inch, in and around Uptown, even 1 inch of sleet. And if you were paying close attention to the forecast, like lots of people were yesterday, I mean, it was hard to avoid noticing that sleet because it's loud. It's much different than snow. And then we transitioned into that freezing rain. So stepping outside this morning, everything is really crunchy still. You'll notice that it's either crunchy or it's slushy, kind of just depending on where you are. Freezing rain totals, this is what they look like. So Concord, you had 1.5 inches of accumulating sleet. On top of it, 1/2 inch of freezing rain. Not a good setup there. Indian Trail, Uptown, about 1/4 inch of freezing rain. So freezing rain is much different if you're not used to it. You know, it does look a little deceiving because you might just be thinking, all right, now it's transitioned into rain. This is all over with, right? Or even just little mist and drizzle at times. The precipitation was really light, but that was freezing precipitation, just freezing on contact of everything. And we definitely noticed it just looking at people's cars, how frozen over everything was. Yesterday was a crazy weather day. I mean, this is a massive winter storm system bringing huge impacts across the country. I mean, not only did we have winter weather, but we even had some tornado warnings in place in parts of the deep south. Now for us, we're still under winter weather advisories. These are issued by the National Weather Service. We'll be under them until 1 o'clock today. We're done with the ice storm. We're done with the sleet, freezing rain, all of it. However, they've kept this in place because the impacts are still there, especially on some of our roads, major bridges, on-ramps, off-ramps, that type of thing. Sometimes you feel confident because the roads look really good, and then maybe you hit just a little bit of ice and then you see what has happened, a car sliding off the road. This is I-485 near Oakdale Road. I was covering traffic over the last couple of days, including this morning. And honestly, roads looked great. So big shout out to NCDOT, SCDOT. I know they work such long hours to try to continue to keep the roads looking good for us. And the major interstates, I mean, really look nice. Now, the primary roads look great. Secondary roads, still a little dicey. You know, it takes some time to get that all cleared. But it's really our rural counties, our rural towns out in our mountain counties that are still dealing with the worst of it. We'll get to that. Visibility has also been a player in our forecast today. Now, in and around the Queen City, we're not seeing that. It's gorgeous outside. Still some lingering fog, though, to the east of us, and then especially up in the high country. Temperatures. Have you been outside yet today? I know a lot of people have been home from
just
work
in the dark.
and school. And one thing that we are noticing is that temperatures are just cold. 36 degrees in Charlotte, 17 in Jefferson. But once you factor in the wind on top of it, that's when it just feels incredibly cold. Below 0 at times up in the mountains, -1 up there in Boone. This morning on WCNC, Richard was out there reporting there in Boone, and I felt like my face hurt for him because of how cold the air and the wind was. The winds are still breezy out there, especially up in their mountain counties, moving in from the north, pulling in still that bitter cold Arctic air with some of our winds gusting over 40 to 45 miles an hour. I mean, that's the last thing you want when it's already so cold outside. In and around Charlotte, a little breezy at times, but really nothing compared to what our mountain counties are seeing. Breezy into the overnight hours, and then by Tuesday morning, those winds should calm down. Now, the National Weather Service has also issued cold weather advisories for all of us shaded in blue, indicating that this is still serious cold that you need to be prepared for, especially tonight with some of the coldest temperatures that we've seen since 2024. As we're heading up towards the mountains, Ashwaubenon, Avery counties, if you're watching from there, I know it is so windy. I know it's bitterly cold. You're going to be under an extreme cold warning. This is where we're seeing the worst of it through tomorrow morning. Now notice, here's another live camera look. This one's taking you out to the mountains. This is out there in Blowing Rock. Since we're talking about the mountains, this is a whole different scene compared to what we're seeing in Charlotte. I mean, here it's gorgeous, blue sunny skies and Blowing Rock. Limited visibility. We have overcast conditions, fog, and then a lot of that sleet and a little snow that the high country did get. It's blowing all across the road because of how strong those winds are. It doesn't look that beautiful, but it definitely does not feel nice to be out there, especially if you have to be out there for an extended amount of time. Layer up, avoid having exposed skin, because unfortunately things are getting worse tonight for the mountains especially. Now everyone, bottom line, is going to get cold tonight. 11 degrees in Charlotte. That means waking up Tuesday morning, some of the coldest air that we have felt. 1 degree in Boone, 3 in Jefferson, and then look at these wind chills. This is heading into tonight and into tomorrow. Feeling like it's negative 15. Not out of the question. Anywhere from 15 to 20 below zero for the mountain counties. That's what it's going to feel like. So plan accordingly. At this point, hopefully your car and your house and your loved ones and pets and everything are all properly taken care of. But maybe just call up a friend if you know somebody who maybe lives by themselves, somebody who might be elderly as well, making sure that they're all ready for the bitter cold temperatures. And it's always a good reminder to make sure your faucets are dripping, open up your cabinets, just do whatever you can to help your house stay warm with such cold air, especially if you live in an older house. Now, drip tonight, but also you may want to continue to do that over the next few nights, because unfortunately, look at our Jerry Hunt Super Center 7-day forecast. We have sunshine, but temperatures remain really cold all throughout the week. 38 degrees for our high, so we're rising above freezing. We like to see that. That means the precipitation is slowly melting off. However, 11 degrees overnight. I'm afraid that tomorrow's morning commute is going to be much worse than the commute that we saw today for Monday because of that melting throughout the day and then the refreeze overnight. Black ice accumulating as well, especially over bridges, on and off ramps, close to lakes or rivers, that types of things. Tomorrow, a high of only 39 degrees, but still plenty of sunshine. And then we'll warm up just a little bit, but our average is 53 degrees. We don't even top off in the 50s all throughout our 7-day forecast. And then Friday and into Saturday, we have another system that's starting to brew. I think we need to fine-tune the forecast a little bit more before we start really diving into the potential of any more wintry weather coming our way. But at this point, it seems like there will be another big drop in temperatures. Whether or not we could see some moisture with it, still trying to figure that out, but not out of the question for possibly a little bit more snow flurries at least coming back in on Saturday. So seeing some sunshine, we'll take it, but really need people to be prepared for the commute tomorrow.
Yeah, and we're standing by for schools, what they're going to say, making decisions on, because of the ice. That might be a tough call, especially for the mountain communities as well. But everyone made it in okay.
I have a
Carlene?
bugaboo. A PSA,
What's
if
the
you will,
bug?
for people.
The what?
I saw it this morning on my drive in and my drive yesterday. If you're driving out today, if you have to, scrape off the top of your car too. If you're going on a busy interstate, or any road that you're going like,
because the slush. Yep.
And it's not even that thin snow that kind of just floats. This is like a solid chunk of ice.
Right. So I saw it this morning. I'm like, just take a couple extra minutes and just do the top of your car.
Well,
y'all.
yeah, as much as you can.
As much as you can.
Because some of it's
Don't be
just
that person.
hardened to the roof of the car.
If it goes on my car, like I drive a little car, like I'm blinded for temporarily.
And which is also the reason why we tell you give yourself more distance than usual to drive behind. And then the braking and accelerating, give yourself a little bit more time and do that slowly both directions. So
it all makes a difference.
All of the things. We got to take it easy out there so we can see tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right. So drastic. Majestic, thank you for coming in once again. That update. Thanks, again, I guess we'll keep tabs on Saturday. Is that the next possible?
Yeah, seems like Friday night to Saturday.
Friday night to Saturday. In the meantime, that sunshine is a welcome sight and feel. All right. With that, we are going to welcome a little break here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. We'll be right back. (10:18) now here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. A number of states giving post-storm updates and having press conferences. We had Kentucky not too long ago. Governor Beshear gave his, and now Mayor Mamdani giving one with other New York officials in New York City. Let's listen in on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus.
As we announced yesterday, today is a virtual learning day for our students, with exceptions for high school students and schools serving only grades 6 through 12 that are observing a previously scheduled professional development day. All after-school programs, adult education, and school-based programming have been canceled. As of 9:15 a.m. this morning, we have over 400,000 parents, student, and staff logons. Again, as a reminder, high school students and grades 6 through 8 students co-located with high school students had a previously scheduled day off for professional development, so our decision to go remote impacts a portion of our school system, about 500,000 students who are scheduled to be in school on Monday. I did visit a classroom this morning remotely alongside the chancellor and reiterated my offer to students that they could pelt me in the face with a snowball. They were very excited about that and asked for a time and place. I said, you can find me anywhere in New York City. There remain some interruptions to service. Alternate side parking is suspended today and will also be suspended tomorrow. Payment at parking meters will remain in effect. The Staten Island Ferry is continuing to run on a modified schedule every 20 minutes. And I want to also ask New Yorkers to be patient with garbage collection as DSNY prioritizes snow removal in the immediate short term. But our city is steadily coming back online. Lyft's suspension of City Bike service has been lifted. The New York City Ferry is running once again and operating at 90% capacity. Buses and subways are also running normally, though I would encourage New Yorkers to budget some extra time on their commutes. Our goal is for all services to be fully restored by tomorrow, with all streets cleared, students back at school in person, and our city back to normal, albeit with a lot of snow piled up. I am grateful to all the New Yorkers who heeded our guidance to stay inside and to practice caution, and to every person who contributed to the citywide effort that allowed us to endure this storm successfully. Please continue to monitor the cold temperatures that we are expecting over this coming week and to look out for one another. As always, New York, stay warm, stay prepared, stay safe. Thank you very much. Now our Chancellor, Kumar Samuels.
Hello, good morning. So this morning, I not only logged on with the mayor to a class where we read The Snowy Day, I also logged on with my own daughter before I left home. And so I was pleased to announce that both times we were able to log on, like most of the rest of the city, to our classrooms. Things have gone very well this morning. It was a smooth start to the day. Students were able to log into their virtual classroom quickly and get right into their school day. Schools and families who've been having any issues can call 718-935-5100. I've known that number forever, even as a principal. And so we also have 8,000 staff who are, on the ground spreading salt, deploying plows and shoveling to make sure that tomorrow we will be ready for school. And I tell all those people, thank you so much for your work. Thank you so much for your support. We have also opened 10 high schools across the city as warming shelters for families, for people looking for shelter. And we have school safety agents deployed in all of those situations. New Yorkers, your schools are a part of the city's ecosystem. We remain connected today, and we will continue to remain connected, and our schools will be ready for opening when the weather permits. Thank you very much.
Please. Thank you.
Good morning. I just want to start by thanking the thousands of city employees and volunteers who worked through this weekend shoveling snow, responding to emergencies, serving our most vulnerable, conducting outreach and coordination overnight and in dangerous conditions. From sanitation workers, first responders, DOT crews, park staff, to my team in emergency management, these people really showed up when we needed them most. And at the same time, this weekend tested us in more ways than one. Alongside the major snowstorm, we faced prolonged extreme cold, as well as 2 tragic fires in the Bronx. And although snow cleanup is underway, I want to be very, very clear that we are not out of the woods yet. We still have a lot of work to do. Dangerous weather conditions persist throughout the week with frigid temperatures, placing utilities and infrastructure under pressure, and vulnerable New Yorkers remain at risk. This reality has guided our response from the start. It's guided our planning and will continue to guide our work in the days ahead. And it's important for everyone to understand that as a city, we do have a lot more work to do. This was the first major snowstorm New York City has seen in years. We stayed focused on getting clear, timely information to New Yorkers early and often. Tens of thousands of New Yorkers signed up for Notify NYC during this storm so they could stay informed about travel conditions, warming centers, and safety guidance. Knowing is half the battle. Informed New Yorkers make safer decisions, and New Yorkers did exactly that. People stayed off the roads when possible, they checked in on neighbors, and they took advantage of city resources. We were able to open, as the Chancellor said, and the Mayor, warming centers across all 5 boroughs. At Emergency Management, we coordinated this response around the clock through our Emergency Operations Center, connecting agencies and partners together 24/7 in real time, ensuring our plows were able to operate across all 5 boroughs. Emergency crews, police officers, ambulances were able to respond and serve. The mayor and his team, they really did a great job empowering agencies to act early, communicate clearly, and work together. The support we received from City Hall throughout these emergencies allowed our agencies to coordinate quickly, act early, and respond efficiently. This made it possible throughout the day yesterday and overnight to move resources where they were needed most, keep New Yorkers informed, and unified our response. As I prepare to step away as commissioner, I want to just say how lucky I have been alongside the team at Emergency Management and all of our sister agencies. I found that, I found that government really is truly at its best when it's a team sport. We've tackled this team just about everything from, I'm supposed to get emotional in 2 weeks, not today. Everything from one of the largest humanitarian crises this city that has ever arrived on our shores, tragic mass shootings, a tragic shipwreck. We've seen record-setting rainfall, heat, other extreme weather. We've had major cyber incidents, space weather, air pollution from Canada, aviation accidents. We've had building collapses, water main breaks, an endless number of fires. Up until now, my amazing First Deputy, Christina Farrell, and I have had it all, except a major snowstorm. And one of the things I want to say is I'm very confident that no matter what the future holds, this team has it. This team is incredible. And Mr. Mayor, I also want to say to you, you really are building a great team here at City Hall. In the short time we've worked together, it's been a busy, busy couple of weeks. And I've seen you and your team show up for New Yorkers on their worst days through 5-alarm fires and more. It's been a busy few weeks. And I'm confident that with this team, including your amazing Deputy Mayor for Operations, Julia Gerson, and so many others, our team at NYSEM, and the thousands of men and women who serve this city, who show up day in and day out for the people of this great city, I know this city is in great, great hands. So thank you all so much.
Good morning. Yesterday, 5,000 sanitation workers showed up to drive plows and spread salt on highways, roads, and bike lanes. While everyone else was warm inside or having fun in the snow with loved ones, they were working around the clock to help keep New Yorkers safe. And they're still here. We remain on a full force 24/7 operation for several days to come as part of a full cleanup following the storm. It was the largest and most intense winter storm to hit New York City in about 5 years. And I want to remind New Yorkers about what to expect from a robust DSNY operation following the storm. Last night and today, we plowed every single street multiple times, running routes consistently and repeatedly based on conditions on the ground. Because of that work today, the streets are passable for emergency vehicles and people who must drive to get to work. The same is true for bike lanes.
Time right now is 10:28 here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus as we bring you the coverage post-storm from the weekend from not only the Charlotte area, but obviously other states impacted, and so much of the country has been impacted. This is what we do here on Live Impact News. We bring you live feeds as they happen, conversations, discussions that are important and exclusive to WCNC and the Charlotte metro area. We are the only streaming station here in the market that is live in this format, and so we thank you if you've been with us. We started earlier in 2025, and if you're just joining us because of the weather, this is what we do on a daily basis. With that, we will have the latest update from CATS because a lot of people use public transportation. That's coming up other side of the break on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. Time right now is 10:31 on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. All right, we're on the other side of this icy event here in the Charlotte area. Still going to have refreeze as a concern, definitely after the sun goes down later on tonight and the overnight. That will affect things certainly for tomorrow. And then really just even getting out and about today, things are going to be tricky and touch and go, although for the most part, from all accounts, it sounds like things are going really well. Public transportation, a concern as well. And so Brett Baldock from CATS joining us here on the phone. Brett, good morning to you. I know you've been busy over the weekend.
Yes, good morning. We actually just started service on the Blue Line and some of our bus routes about 30 minutes ago. So that's good news, but our Gold Line is still suspended at this time.
Okay, very good. Walk us through what the weekend was like then for CATS, and was it everything anticipated?
Yes. So I know a lot of people have reached out to us, or a few people have reached out to us, and we're wondering why they're seeing the Blue Line trains run this weekend, but there were no passengers on them. That is because we had ice cutters installed on those trains, and they're cutting down all the ice on the lines throughout the weekend to ensure that we could restart service at 10 o'clock this morning. So one note about the Blue Line service is we're running on a 30-minute frequency instead of the normal 15. So just keep that in mind if you are traveling today. As well as our bus routes, they are open and operational, but we have a list on our website, ridetransit.org, and I think you guys also have the list from our press release of some routes that are not operational today, and those are mostly our neighborhood and side road routes because those roads are still not treated. Now, with that said, I know you mentioned the refreezing, so we are preparing for that this evening, and we are going to suspend all services at midnight instead of 2 a.m. so we can get a lot of our employees as well as our customers home before, the deep freeze that's going to happen at the 2 a.m. and on range. So we're just asking everyone to be patient if they are traveling today. We're going to have another update this afternoon about our operations for Tuesday. But as of right now, the big thing is the Blue Line and all major bus routes are running.
Okay, and how about the Gold Line? That's still suspended.
Correct. The Gold Line is still suspended. We hope to have that back up and running by Tuesday. But again, we're going to have another meeting this afternoon and provide everyone, all our customers and you guys in the local media with an update this afternoon about when the Gold Line will reopen tomorrow.
All right. And once things do improve, how long typically does it take to get everything back up to a normal operation?
So we're hoping by tomorrow afternoon or at least Wednesday, we should be up to normal operations. The issue that we're having with the Gold Line is just, that's at the mercy of road conditions. And we also haven't had the ice cutters running on the Gold Line because we were really focused on making sure the Blue Line was open and operational. So once I know it's melting a little bit right now, which is great news, but it's a double-edged sword because it's melting and then it could refreeze. So we're really hoping we can get back to normal operations by tomorrow afternoon, if not Wednesday morning.
How about in the way of incidents over the weekend, buses sliding or any equipment issues, anything reported in that regard?
So we had some buses that were sliding late Friday night, which is why we made the decision on Saturday to suspend service completely. It's not something that we wanted to do. It's not something we do often, but what we found was the temperatures, especially Sunday morning, were so, I actually messed up my days. I'm sorry. So Saturday night was when the buses were sliding. Sunday morning was when we made the decision to suspend service. And that was because the temperatures were below 20 degrees and we worked with our partners at CDOT and they told us that the salt was not melting the ice as quickly due to those cold temperatures. So that's really the only curveball I believe that we were thrown was we were hoping the temperatures would have been a little bit warmer for the salt to work. So other than that, we had no major issues this weekend. And we appreciate everyone that stayed home.
Absolutely. And how are the operators? How are they holding up?
The operators are doing well. We've put a lot of them up in local hotels, and we appreciate their dedication to making sure that people are able to travel. So we're recognizing our operators that have been working around the clock, and we appreciate all of the essential workers that we have at CATS as well as across the Queen City that have made sure that operations continue as much as they can.
All right. And as far as riders who are monitoring, CATS's next move, what is the best way to keep on top of that?
Yes, they can download our CATS Pass app or visit ridetransit.org, and that will have all of the latest updates.
All right. And then we're going to look for an update from you guys later on this afternoon?
Correct. We should have an update by 3 p.m. today.
All right, we'll look for that. Brett Baldock from CATS, thank you so much for joining us here live on Live Impact News. Appreciate the latest update there.
Thank you.
All right, Brett. We'll be right back on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. At 10:39, back here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. Told you earlier that we're following local feeds as well as national, international news as they come into the Charlotte newsroom. A lot of folks are holding press conferences doing the debrief post-storm with much of the country impacted here. We're going to check in with City of Columbus, Ohio now. This is Columbus Mayor Ginther and other storm-related officials. Let's go ahead and listen in on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus.
Return as conditions allow. In pickup as mess, residents should leave bins at the curb and call 311 for assistance. With extreme cold, no one will be turned away from shelters or warming centers. If you are outside, please come inside. These temperatures are dangerous and could have deadly consequences if you stay outside, and help is available. On the community responsibility front, I want people to continue to park vehicles off the street wherever possible. We know in some neighborhoods that isn't possible, but in many neighborhoods it is. Shovel your sidewalks if you're able and assist neighbors if you can. And please help out our warriors by not throwing any of that snow back into the streets. Throw it up into the yard or out of the way. And most importantly, look out for one another. Please check in on your neighbors, especially our vulnerable residents. Please help a neighbor shovel their sidewalks if you're able, and continue to come together and take care of one another. No doubt about it, this storm is testing our systems and certainly will test our patience over the next several days, but our crews are working nonstop and coordinating across departments to keep our residents safe. In closing, please stay home, stay informed, and give crews the space and the grace they need to work. Not only have we had an unprecedented snowfall, but the temperatures this week, I believe today will be the warmest it will be this week. We will not reach above 20 degrees for at least a week. We will not get back to freezing until, I believe, the first or second week of February. So this is a very challenging time. The storm has stopped snowing, but these conditions are going to make it very challenging for us to get the roads passable without several days and several passes at our priority 1, 2s, and 3s. So turn things over to Director, or do you want to have Scott share a few words? Any updates?
I'll let Scott go.
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning. Operational updates for everyone today. We continue to utilize a full call out, and as the mayor said, that it currently has us over 99 trucks. We have serviced 99% of our priority 1 arterial roadways, and as indicated, we have been on over 90% of our priority 2 collector streets. Now, these collector streets are the ones that feed into the neighborhoods. Also, as indicated, that's since the start of the event. So particularly for these priority 2 collectors, we may have serviced them at 2 a.m. Sunday morning, 6 a.m. Sunday morning, and obviously it continued to snow for a number of hours. So many of them are still needing additional service, and we will be back to ultimately service all of those priority 2 roadways as a part of our service plan. Right now, we are continuing to focus the majority of our crews on our priority 1 arterial roadways, the major roadways that carry the most volumes and highest speeds of traffic. We do have a number of crews that are working those priority 2 collector streets. We have also slowly started to break into some of our priority 3 local roadways as well. Right now, we've been on just about 10% of those streets. That local network totals over 2,200 miles alone. So we still have a long way to go. As mentioned, the extreme cold and windy conditions over the next, the wind particularly over the next 24 to 36 hours and the long-term cold absolutely hamper our efforts. It reduces the effectiveness of our materials. It requires more and more passes and more material and effort to ultimately get the snow to break free from the road so that we can plow it off. Our priority 1 roadways are starting to become passable as a result of our efforts. Please continue to pay attention to the sheriff's snow emergency levels. We are coordinating with Sheriff Baldwin and providing him feedback so that he can make the best decision for our community in regards to what the appropriate snow emergency level is at that time. We anticipate that over the next 12 to 24 hours, the vast majority, if not all of our priority 1 streets will become fully passable. This is not perfect. They will not be perfect for a number of days, in part because of the extreme cold, the wind. There's a chance for additional flurries or light snow showers in the coming days that would also require us to have to continue to service those priority 1 roadways. Hopefully, as we stand here Monday morning, by late tomorrow, many of our priority 2 streets will become fully passable. Those streets that are getting plowed now will be passable sooner because it's not going to snow anymore or not snow too much. And then the streets that we serviced early in the storm, as we go back and continue to service those, they will also become passable. Again, it only stopped snowing 12 hours ago, so we have been working around the clock since overnight Saturday. We will continue to work around the clock. One note about our priority 3 local streets. Several years ago, we did review all of our routes and reorganize, so now any and all of our priority 3 local roads, even though they have not yet been plowed, or most of them have not, and it will be another day or 2 before we're fully able to get there, all of those streets are within 2 to 3 blocks of a priority 2 roadway. So for those residents who do need to get out, who do have urgent and pressing appointments that cannot wait or cannot be rescheduled, they simply have to make it 2 or 3 blocks and they will be able to reach a road that has been serviced in their commute. Again, it will not be perfect, but it will be passable. In the downtown area, this volume of snow causes some unique challenges for us. There is so much snow that simply pushing it to the curb as we typically do is going to cause some really big problems with not only parking but impacts to sidewalks. The fact that there's extended cold and it will not melt off soon means we are going to be enacting our downtown hauling plan. So what this means is the streets in downtown may look a little different right now. Many of the two-way streets have actually been plowed to the middle. We will be coming back to ultimately haul all of that snow out in the coming days. We are working to see how quickly we can get there, but we are also wanting to prioritize service into the priority 2 and priority 3 neighborhood streets. This is the first time since 2008 that we have had to enact this plan. So again, that speaks to the historical nature of this storm. Over 12 inches of snow at Columbus, and then again the long-term extreme cold following it. Our team will be working 24/7, likely well into the weekend until we have completed all necessary service. And then as indicated, several safety messages to really focus on. Yesterday we had a number of problems with vehicles that were out on the road when they really should not have been. Lots of cars stalled in the middle of the roadway, blocking our progress, hindering our routes. Multiple times we could not service an arterial 2-lane road because there was a car stuck right in the middle and we couldn't fit by. As mentioned today, we had a plow vehicle struck and our driver injured. So again, this is very serious to give these men and women extra room to work. And then finally, one of the other problems that we're having with this event is folks who are shoveling driveways, sidewalks, some of the private contractors clearing private parking lots. They're pushing a lot of snow into the streets. And so not only is that wrong and illegal, it's a significant safety hazard to leave a pile of snow in the street for a vehicle who might not see it and hit a large pile of snow. It makes our efforts less effective. It hinders our response. So again, my request to anyone who is doing their own snow work with this event, not only for your driveways and sidewalks, but if you are working on a private parking lot for a commercial retail restaurant style building, please do not push that snow into the street. With that, this concludes my remarks. I'm not sure I might turn that.
Yeah, and I think there are two other points I'd like to make before we take any and all questions. I think I've shared this with some of you, maybe one-on-one, but I'm not sure if I've shared this with the entire media. I did sign an emergency order on Friday for an additional $100,000 to supplement our private contractors. That's been an element with the director and Scott's leadership. We look and evaluate after every winter event what we could be doing. You know, a real commitment to continuous improvement. With their leadership, they put together the auxiliary team, grown the auxiliary team dramatically. So that's city employees that work full-time for other departments that in the midst of major weather events come to pitch out and back up the snow warriors, and our engagement with private contractors, particularly to help us focus on those priority 2s and 3s. And because of the fall and the winter events that we had in December and January, we were nearing the end of the resources for private contractors, so I signed that emergency order on Friday so that would be fully in place for us to deal with this, and depending on what Mother Nature throws us, we might need to do more before the end of this winter season. The second thing is a shout out to all of our partners, ODOT, the county, our suburban neighbors, other partners here in the region who have all been incredibly helpful and great partners, obviously Sheriff Baldwin with his work. So I just want to thank everybody for the great regional cooperation and partnership. Been mayor for a while. I think this region is working closer together during major winter weather events than ever before, and really proud of the way folks are working together and helping each other out.
Can I just to add to the partnership, that not only does that extend with the regional partners, but again, this auxiliary staff that has really helped us get into 90% of those priority 2s. Those are men and women in building and zoning code enforcement, right? They're building inspectors the other 51.5 weeks of the year, right? Rec and Parks has sent us another 8 to 10 trucks today alone, so they're helping to prioritize streets for us. So that's a huge thank you. All of these vehicles take a tremendous beating and a tremendous amount of wear and tear during this event. Our fleet team has been in our garage and staffing their fleet facility right around the clock, 24/7 with us since Saturday afternoon. And again, none of this happens just because of myself or some of the street maintenance staff. This is a true City of Columbus team effort. So again, we have folks from our traffic crew and our refuse crew who, like I said, when they're not doing their regular jobs, are coming over to help. So not only on the regional level, as the mayor said, but also on an internal City of Columbus level as well.
Scott, can you tell us a little bit about your employee that got injured? Tell us where it was, what kind of vehicle he was driving, etc.
In the Easton area, there was an individual, one of our individuals in a dump truck. There were several of our dump trucks together, and as they were in the process of turning around and cleaning up some intersections, a private entity went around our truck who was trying to block and control traffic and T-boned our individual. This individual was taken to seek medical treatment. He was released. He's ultimately expected to be okay, but again, it just kind of underscores the safety messaging. In addition to that, that truck that got hit is now unserviceable. So not only did we lose a staff member for a couple of days while he recovers, but we've also lost a piece of equipment.
When was it?
Early morning.
Yesterday?
This morning. Yes.
So the person who hit the truck was trying to
to block efforts? Is that what you said?
We had 2 trucks together. One truck was turning around and clearing out an intersection. The second truck was kind of parked skewed to block an intersection. It's normal plowing tactics to try to tell the traffic behind you, like, hey, give us a second to flip around or whatever. And the third-party individual went around our truck blocking and struck the truck in front.
What were they driving?
They were driving actually a snowplow for a private company, which is one of the reasons why the impact was so significant between the speed of that individual and the fact that he's driving a large pickup with a plow on it.
Is he going to be, that other driver be cited?
I don't have that information at this time.
Is this the only accident that has happened so far?
We've had several other minor accidents, but this is the biggest notable one. None of the other incidents have been significant or severe or caused injuries. This is the one that, again, is really kind of eye-opening and underscores the risk and the safety challenges that our men and women face 24/7 when we're doing these types of operations.
Hey, Scott, while you're standing there, is there any way to avoid, this is something we saw this morning, is there any way to avoid kind of snowing in some of the side streets? Like, we were on North 4th Street this morning, and, like, you know, the trucks go by and kind of plow in some of those side streets, kind of causing some hazards, or almost a barricade, like a snow barricade on some of those side streets.
Yes, especially with this much snow, it obviously has to go somewhere and gets piled up. And so while we're servicing the Priority 1 roadways, our priority is the through movement and trying to clean out some of the turn lanes. Ultimately, yes, as a part of our service plan, we do go back, and this is one thing that takes forever, is clean up every single city intersection, right? So in fact, I was in a truck this morning, and you go through the main line, and you have to come back and push back that intersection. And again, that's one of the things that the individual that was in the accident this morning was working on, is as they clear through the main intersections on a major roadway, a Morris, a Sunbury, that type of thing, then they have to clean all that snow up so that if you're crossing the intersection, you don't run into a big pile, and that's one of the safety risks.
Mayor, you were out actually in a plow yesterday. Can you kind of give us, from your point of view, how the roads looked?
So very dangerous, you know, and that's why the sheriff had made the unprecedented move and declare a level 3 emergency. And so I think, you know, folks should make plans to stay home. That is the safest place for them. It's also the safest place for our snow warriors, so that they're able to get out and do their work and don't have to deal with cars that are stranded, or individuals that have been stranded, or folks that, you know, aren't giving them the room to operate. So we have a lot of work to do. I'm very proud of the snow warriors and the team. They are working around the clock. This is an unprecedented event. So continue to ask for the public's patience and for them to stay at home if they can, and really appreciate all the collective effort here. Really proud of the way the city and the community are coming together around this.
Is that extra $100,000 emergency funding going to be enough to clear these roads in the next couple of days?
Well, probably not the next couple. It's going to be several. We've been talking about that from the beginning of this. And so, and even though we're making great progress, as Scott mentioned, at servicing, we're going to have to service these roads, whether it's priority 1, 2, or 3, several times. And so it's really important for us to make sure that we're communicating that this is a major unprecedented event. And it will take us a significant amount of time and resources. I'm committed that whatever this team needs to help our city open back up and be safe for kids to go to school and moms and dads to go to work, and for cops and firefighters to continue to provide great essential city services, we'll spend whatever's necessary.
Speaking of schools, have you talked to Dr. Chapman today about the possibility?
Not today, not today. We speak, especially in events like this, regularly. We spoke yesterday, and my guess is we'll probably talk again today, but not yet.
Are you hearing anything about people losing heat or power out there? Has that been an issue? We're getting some tips from viewers saying that they've lost heat in their homes. I don't know exactly what that means.
Yeah, and if that is the case, you know, please contact the city. Obviously, if it's city power, we can, you know, be directly involved. And if not, we can liaison with AEP and others. But please contact us in the mayor's office or through 311, and we will provide whatever resources we can.
Do you know how full the warming shelters and some of the other shelters are?
And you've been listening live to the press conference, what he said, unprecedented wintry weather through the Ohio Valley. So this impacting so many facets of our country, of our lives, of our day-to-day, of our travels. Let's check in CLT. This is what's happening right now. The status, it looks like we have now delays have been upped to 112. About an hour ago, they were somewhere. They were in the double digits for sure, like 85, something
like that,
Something
yeah.
like that. So now we're seeing delays go up, and we are seeing cancellations go up. Again, about an hour ago when we checked in, that was hovering around 3 something, yeah. So that looks like it's now up to 419. And throughout the weekend, I know staying at the hotel, there were a lot of passengers stranded at the hotel.
We talked to our good friend Julie Kay. She's stuck in Ohio.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
no surprise.
No surprise.
Yeah, that was gonna happen for sure. And people are stuck for days. A ripple effect. So hopefully we get that number back down. But again,
It might be a couple days.
It might be a couple days to get everything back up to normal and get caught up as well with delays and flights and cancellations back to, at least single digits. All right, be patient, everybody. And we have Charlotte Today coming up next at 11 o'clock, back here in the Live Impact studio with Nick Sturdivant at 12:30. Until then, have a great Monday morning. Be safe out there. We'll see you next time.